All right, cool. Welcome to week 20. It is May 16th, 2024. And for all of us option traders out there, it's a fun week for earnings trades, especially since everyone has a monthly contract that expires this week. So we don't have to filter for weeklies. So that's always convenient. But yeah, welcome to week 20. It's lots of good times. So yeah, we'll look at the markets, of course. We'll look at AAII sentiment data. We do have a meeting coming up next Saturday. And let me get that listing to you guys. We're going to look at um, this is oh, did we change the speaker, Kurt? Brian Overby?
I'm, I'm sorry, what?
Do we change speakers for Saturday?
I
So
didn't hear anything about it yet.
was it always Brian Overby?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay. I guess this listing I just haven't seen. But yeah, so this is this Saturday. I'm not familiar with his work. Does anyone know his bio by any chance? Kurt, maybe you?
I don't.
Okay. So yeah, we'll look at butterfly spreads. So getting that third strike in. Let's see. Yeah, management, adjustment, strategies, advanced strategies, looking at volatility and time decay on the butterfly, recovering from unfavorable butterfly trades using a two-step process. Little typo here. Okay. Oh yeah, but that's this Saturday coming up. So please register and if you have a financial hardship clause, because your GME and AMC trades haven't gone too well this week, let me know. We'll still get you in. Cool. So that's coming up. And then we got a couple of cool idiots of the week, all kinds of stuff, trading and non-trading related. So, of course, San Francisco is giving the homeless and the poor free alcohol. And you remember we were looking at 2 weeks ago about SF County's cash reconciliation problem with your budgets. Like losing 20% of your receipts was already considered like barely passable, and 40% was bad. And I think San Francisco was like at 51% or something. Like we don't know where all the money went. But yes, they're buying liquor for the poor, for the poor, and it's just hilarious. But yeah, we'll look at some crazy YOLOs this week around GME and AMC, fun loss porn, and we'll take a look at some success stories at least and how insane it was. And then we posted this on Discord, but there was a funny analyst or a funny hedge fund guy out of Danville here, and he sends out analysts who just walks around parks in Austin, San Francisco, and New York, and just takes a survey on, hey, where do you work? And he's shorting these companies. It's beautiful. It's a pretty slick strategy. So yeah, this is fun. But yeah, we'll look at fun stuff there. And again, our book of the month this month for our first kickoff is Bill O'Neill's How to Make Money in Stocks. Again, this is a really dense book. We probably need to do a couple of refreshers a couple times. But if you
I'm
haven't
gonna
got
need a little bit of time, Warren. I'm only on chapter 2.
yeah, it's a heavy book.
It's dense. It's really
Yeah,
good, but dense. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we'll schedule something for end of the month. Cool.
Okay.
But yeah, again, order your books if you haven't already. And if you want the PDF version, I have it. Just ping me. I can send it to you guys. And still taking suggestions. Again, I think even at 1 month or one book a month, that's a lot of books to get through. But yeah, we'll do our best. Cool. And we got some fun documentaries and movies to queue up as well with the group. Yeah. And then, yeah, we'll take a look at it again, the index and market overview and all the fun stuff for indexes in just a bit. And we'll look at the fear and greed index of CNN, and it's improved drastically. So we'll take a look. Fun stuff with Stock Traders Almanac, of course. Great readout for May, June, and July. We'll take a look at. Someone broke my laptop that had the perfect cookies for signing into stock charts, but like I left it on the table and I came back later and someone like snapped my laptop in half. Like I was kind of
Oh
pissed.
no.
Yeah, my mistake, but they didn't steal my laptop, they destroyed it, which like upset me more. Like if
Wow.
you at least use it and then I find out it's pawned off to like China or something, I understand, but yeah, okay, that's okay. But yeah, one laptop down, no biggie. But yeah, we got earnings coming up today, of course. What is cooking today? I just want to take a quick peek.
Mm.
I'm curious. Let's see. AMAT, fun stuff. I loved in film technology, so that's good. Take Two. What else is fun? I don't know these guys. Let's see. Tomorrow. Oh, it's pretty boring. Okay, so it looks like it's only AMAT. All in on AMAT. Okay, we'll sell both sides. And I guess Take Two, we can do some fun stuff there. And it looks like a couple of billion-dollar companies we'll take a look at. Okay, so that's earnings for today. We'll sell Iron Condors. We'll take a look at some other past earnings this week. Under Armour had an interesting report, so we'll take a look at that. Walmart had a phenomenal earnings yesterday, so but they do have some interesting what is it segmentation data that we'll look at between the different tiers of customers. So that'll be helpful. And we'll look at what the kids are trading. Lots of the usual suspects. But yeah, and then getting onto the news cycle, lots of big prints this week. So we had PPI data come out, CPI data come out as well. And it looks like PPI was bad and CPI is less bad, therefore really good. And market rallies like hell. So yeah, interesting response. But yeah, we'll take a look at that. What else is fun? Another barge or another bridge infrastructure item got hit. This is number three in what, 2 months?
Wow.
Coincidence, accident, terror, sabotage, the forbidden T word, who knows? But something's happening, right? And lots of fun things about the bird flu. So I got a cross section of interesting
Yeah.
articles, and this is not what you want to. This is not the statement you want former CDC directors to say. Like, yeah, definitely there's an avian flu, and I can make it cross into the human genome really easily in a couple months. Gain of function research getting out of control here. But yeah. So yeah, we'll take a look at the producer price index a little bit. And again, nothing interesting on the black swan list except more of the obvious. I guess we have attacks on infrastructure. So we got that May barge, I guess. So that's number three. And then Francis Scott Key was number one, right? The Francis Scott Key Bridge. And number two was something else. I forgot. It was the one like they stopped it from hitting. Barely avoided. Forgot. Something like that. Okay, so that's one. And we have theaters of war. Any big developments here? I there's the North Israel offensive. And I'm a little fuzzy on what's happening in the Ukraine, but nothing too major, relatively speaking. We have a new package going out from the White House to the Ukraine, I believe. But yeah, let's get shifting gears into the currency markets. Let's see. We have the CME planning to launch spot Bitcoin trading. This seems redundant, but uh, you don't really want Wall Street to get their fangs into spot trading, but seems like we passed that Rubicon a long time ago, and that will only increase. Yeah, and
I
then
think that's actually a good thing, the spot trading, Warren, since, I
hmm,
mean, if you think about it, the ETFs are all at spot. So, and if they get too far away from reality, there is an underlying, right? That's readily tradable in the exchanges and peer to peer. So I actually think it was more dangerous to launch futures without spot. If you think
hmm,
about it, that makes sense, right? So I see this actually as a positive.
I see. Okay, yeah, yeah, and
So
definitely,
what? Mhm. Sorry, go ahead, Warren.
yeah, I think it'll definitely at least I mean, a bigger market is always good for liquidity, and yeah, let's see how they scale this, and let's see, we got a nice inflow outflow chart. Yeah, so we did have that soft week for like the last 2 weeks, but it seems like it's back to all inflows. Even Grayscale isn't shedding stuff all the time. So looks like yeah, it's what is this? Like in poker, this is a family pot. Everyone's into the flop here. So yeah, it looks like it's positive and everyone's trying to draw lucky. Okay. Um, let's see. So fun domestic news. Always California stuff first. And Mr. Hair Gel is a little surprised. China, I mean, not China. California has a financial shortfall. Surprise, surprise. Definitely has nothing to do with the homeless getting drunk, off $5 million. But fun stuff like that. And then get on to national welfare. Let's see. They are expanding Social Security to all SNAP benefits. So this is a little bit adjacent to what you call it, food stamps, basically. Different states call them different things, but effectively it's the food stamp program. So now they're going to be expanding that cohort into getting Social Security benefits. And this is just outright buying of votes. And this is quite a rampant problem in the sort of lower income community that's become welfare trapped. And when I was managing uh, multi-units in Antioch and Brentwood, uh, those are some of my worst complexes. Like you have 20, like early 20-year-old kids with fake doctor diagnosis for disability, and they're on lifetime Social Security disability payments, and it just gets insane. But yeah, I've seen that before. Uh, is someone on the phone? Let me see. Okay, looks okay right now. Okay, cool. But yeah, what else? ICE is going to be rolling out their own set of IDs by this summertime. Uh, and we're legitimizing these folks. This is not going to be good. But yeah, maybe it's for November. We'll see. Boeing might face criminal prosecution for lots of 737 business, and we'll see how that shakes up. Meanwhile, there was yet another 737 debacle on the Japanese side. So wing flap irregularity. And, I've been waiting for my BA shorts to pay off, and it's just been gradually crawling upwards. Like it makes no sense. There's got to be some other players involved backstopping this. But yeah, you think it would keep dropping after all this bad news, but no, um, the stock goes up. So yeah, I guess we need some bodies on the tarmac. Who knows? All right, got some fun beef news. So we'll look at the beef herd. We'll talk beef with Ed here. And we got some good logisticals data from the logistics sector with freight demand. So we'll take a look at that for April. What else? There's a lot of pushback, especially in California, over the electric vehicle mandates since it's not really sustainable. And with a lot of heavy trucks slated for transitions in the next 10 years, they're definitely in trouble. Cool. Got some fun stats on Ozempic and its equivalents. Looks like 1 in 8 folks have tried these GLP-1 hunger reduction medications. And again, they're super expensive. It's about $1,000 per month of treatment and intense appetite suppression. Or you could try intermittent fasting for free. Like, take your pick. And let's see. This is kind of a funny headline. Over half of illegal aliens in the US are unemployed, and they're illegal. So why are they employed to begin with? Meanwhile, let me refresh. Something's wrong with my Google Docs. Okay, let's go back.
Yeah, I thought it was either I lost the internet or maybe he did.
Yeah.
Are you there, Warren? Okay, great.
Yeah. Is everything okay? Okay. Okay, so that's that. And then let's talk about the restaurant apocalypse. And this is not just California, but in general, consumers are tapped out. And with consumer household debt at peak levels, the credit card shopping, people only have so much money to borrow. And this is hitting Red Lobster in a big way. I've never eaten at Red Lobster. I've never eaten Red Lobster in my life, so I have no idea what's in there. I heard there's infinite bread rolls or something. Good cheap seafood. I don't know, but
I enjoy me some Red Lobster. I mean, it's not the healthiest thing to eat all the time, but those bread rolls are addictive.
okay, yeah. I mean, I sure I'd be. I sure I would love to be in there, but I just haven't tried it in time. But But yeah, we'll look at that, other cool regional restaurant news, and then there's some bigger stats on the overall restaurant apocalypse that we'll look at. And then in related news, also McDonald's admits they're having some problems with consumer demand, so they might reinstitute a $5 meal. And basically, it's a Happy Meal without the happy in the toy, but for adults. It's hilarious. And then we'll look at
The unhappy meal.
the unhappy meal, yeah. So we'll take a look at other fun restaurant news and look at our beloved fast food watch list called Type 2 Diabetes. We'll take a look at that. And just as a reference, here is the relative price inflation on the fast food sector. And McDonald's has been one of the worst price gougers of the sector. And relatively speaking, they are the sector leader. So if anyone's going to do price gouging, it would be the sector leader. It's not that big of a surprise. But yeah, corporate greed, price gouging, definitely happening. And the least inflation sensitive was Subway and Starbucks, ironically. And I think In-N-Out needs to be counted here as well. But yeah. Cool. So we'll take a look at a deeper dive for that in just a bit. I'll look at the latest fillings in EV. And yeah, each sold EV costs Ford $100,000. So it's definitely not scalable. And fun real estate news, we'll look at housing permit data from April, and we got some good underwater commercial loan data to look at, relating, tying in our favorite sectors of commercial real estate and the banks, of course. And then shifting gears to fun engineering stuff, lots of fun Tesla news. So we'll take a look at that. Elon has gone batshit crazy. I don't know what else to say. It is insane. It is insane. I would not, if I was a Tesla bag holder, I'd be really worried. And we haven't talked about the big three telecom guys in a while. So we have an interesting update from AT&T. We have some product news from Google's Pixel smartphone. And if you've never played with it, it's kind of a cheap clone of basically iPhone itself. Okay. Some drama from OpenAI, so we'll take a look at that. Some more cell phone data from Samsung. And interestingly enough, Melinda Gates has officially quit the foundation. And this is effectively the real divorce, because between Bill Gates' foundation and divorce laws, there was a tax advantage to divorce in the way that Bill Gates and Melinda did it. And but yeah, now Melinda's finally leaving, and yeah, she's taking her money with her. Besides that, we'll take a look at NVIDIA as the safe haven asset, and we'll compare that against some other fun stuff. We talked about this in the Discord over the week as well. And pivoting to the labor market, is there even a point in looking at jobless claims with all the doctoring? I guess there is to a certain extent, but yeah, we'll take a look. And then for international news, lots of crazy stuff has happened. A Slovakian prime minister was shot and is expected to survive. It is trippy out there. And again, in politics, there are no accidents. And what else? So look at some South Korean data on robotics, which could be fun, and highest infant mortality rates. So definitely try to not have kids here. We'll take a look at that. And we got some fun updated carrier data for the whole world. So we'll look at that. And we got to talk Japan and see how the yen's shaking up as well. And pivoting to oil and commodity news, we got some fun updates on the copper market. And copper is affectionately called Dr. Copper since it's a great predicting tool and prognosticator of the greater S&P 500. And it lags, or it's in theory, it's a forward leading indicator by 6 to 12 months and even longer on some timescales. So yeah, got some couple copper updates there, and definitely is related to Tesla and them firing their entire supercharger team. And don't forget, the supercharger network is one of the key streams of income that Musk is counting on since he's opening up the use to the other EV manufacturers. And firing your whole supercharger install fleet or fleet of human beings is a problem, especially when the shadier ones are going back to steal the copper since they know it's unguarded. So yeah, pretty choppy. But yeah, we'll take a look at copper in general. Sprott published a nice kind of infographic for the current ecosystem. So we'll take a look. And besides that, we have some interesting updates on grain, orange juice. What else was there's another commodity that I skipped. Something else because it wasn't tradable.
Coffee?
Yeah, yeah, coffee and cocoa beans have there was a spike and then it's coming back down quickly. Yeah, so it's cocoa yet. Cool. Precious metals news. Nebraska has declared the end of income taxes on gold and silver. Honestly, most gold and silver guys are dodging taxes on this. You ask for cash at the dealer, and there's no information exchange. A license is a ID or license doesn't get pulled out, and everyone's happy. So yeah, but yeah, fun update from Nebraska, and we'll take a look. We'll take a look at the gold silver premiums at the moment, and the gold silver ratio has been moving quite a bit. And looks like gold and both silver have woken up this week. So yeah, the gold silver ratio is at 80.3 and it was at 88, 89 for a long time as we've been reporting on it. So we'll take a look at that. So basically, gold is cheapening, and silver's getting more expensive, relatively speaking. Yeah. Cool. And lots of fun China news. We got to talk Putin and Xi Jinping meeting this week. Um, and we were talking about this earlier before a lot of folks came in. But yeah, Beijing is hinting at it's going to potentially bail out the real estate sector. But again, this is not possible. They're going to bail out basically maybe a select group of friends at best. And it's a hole that's too big to fill, but we'll see. Um, there's a lot of towers that were slapped this week, so we'll take a look at that. And we've got some outflow data from China. We'll take a look at it as well. And we got to look at yields and M2 money supply from the Chinese side. And yeah, this is all pointing to a very deflationary reality in China. And that might be a good hint of what we're expected to see once we run through the similar courses of mass unemployment and decimation of consumer spending. So yeah, so that's the brief highlight reel. Lots of stuff happening. And yeah. So with that, let's kick off with our poll. And I would love to know where you think the S&P 500 will go by next Thursday. So vote on your screens now. And I'm going to check my positions on my phone. What did we trade yesterday for earnings? John Deere, that was good. Baidu was good. What else was good yesterday? Forgot. Well, Walmart, of course. Yeah, yeah. All right, cool. Looks like we've got our votes in. All right, let me end the poll and share the results. We got 33% bullish, 50% sideways, and 17% for bearish. Okay, very nice spread of opinions. And let's see what the American Association of Individual Investors thinks. This is a famously buy and hold crowd, and looks like pretty much the same as last week. I think we were more bearish last week, if I remember correctly. But yeah, it looks like we're holding parity literally to last week to the decimal point. And yeah, okay. I'm sure this sentiment was a little bit different before CPI print, but since everything is a-okay, everyone's calmed down, and the market is desperate for any encouragement of a rate cut. All right, we've covered our upcoming meeting on Saturday. So take a look at butterflies and let's look at idiot of the week. So yeah, we talked about the SF programs. So yeah, give the alcoholics more alcohol. Yay. All right, let's talk trading. So this was kind of fun. I went to Wall Street Bets. So this is what some kid called a once in a lifetime trade. I mean, definitely with his successful outcome, he turned $10,000 into 108K, and he's buying a house. Wow. I mean, he's moving faster than me, but how many folks had to be burned for this one winner? It would be an interesting question.
What trade did he do?
He didn't post a lot of his stuff. I imagine, short-term AMC, GME something.
Okay.
Yeah, at least this guy didn't post his strategy. All right, we got some other folks. All right, so obviously this is someone who's obviously buying options, not selling them. And after 4 years of hard investing, he's made $16 net. And if you factor in your hourly rates, that might be scary. And if you guys have never tracked your hourly rates, you should, because there is an opportunity cost. And time spent doing trading, reading articles, doing your ledger, um, watching stuff like this. This should all be included, and you should know what your hourly rate of production is. But this guy's obviously working for free and then some. So yeah, you can also screw it up.
I
And
mean, honestly, that's not terrible in the sense that most traders, I'm sure you guys have heard of the 90-90-90 rule, but if he's break even after 4 years and he's learned a bunch, honestly, he's ahead of the curve. I
yeah,
mean, those are the stats. It's if you haven't heard of 90-90-90, what the brokers say, and I've heard this from a few different brokers, whether it's futures or stocks, is they see from their stats that 90% of new traders will lose 90% of their funds within 90 days.
oh,
Wow.
90,
okay.
90, 90.
Oh, I haven't put it
And
that way.
there's documented stats from several brokerages talking about this. Now, this is specifically um, futures and I think stocks. I don't know if it's options traders, but yeah, 90-90-90. I mean,
Wow.
that's what it is. So it is a zero-sum game. It should be understood that like only a small percentage will win, particularly more than a year. Traders that can sustain gains over multiple years are in a elite few. So
So
Yeah.
Ed, so the 90-90-90, so let's say they all failed within 90 days. Do they ever come back? Maybe after a year or so? Any statistics on that?
I don't know that they keep any documented statistics and like how much effort are people putting in if they're only trading for 90 days, right? Maybe they're just taking it very casually. I mean, you heard this, Warren, last night from a few of our Bitcoiners, some of them former, I would say, casual traders, right? They're not
Mhm.
putting in a ton of research, obviously. Anyway, it is what it is, but it's a lot of work, I guess, is my point to be a successful trader. So,
Mhm. I
Yeah.
I
guess
mean,
we are,
back to your
we are,
point, right, Warren, of
mhm.
tracking and tracking your hours and really seeing what you're putting in. It's worth knowing, right?
Yeah, and you could do like a general back of the envelope calculation. Doesn't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
Cool. But yeah, this is a beautiful clarification of the 90-90-90. That's great. And TradingView has a good explanation of maybe why you're losing money. So I mean, yeah, I mean, there's a lot to learn with just can slim alone, will take you several months to really figure out, let alone options and everything else. So I could see why most people fail with options, especially. Um, there's just too much to learn too fast. And figuring out your broker's mechanics is a big deal. And I think a lot of us that are juggling with the SWOG platform shift, we're seeing all kinds of things being broken and what have you. So definitely you gotta leave room for operational error, especially in the beginning of your trading career. Yeah, cool. So yeah, back to another idiot. This is not a loss per se, but I think some of us are vulnerable to getting made unprofitable by tools that aren't necessarily making money here, right? So this guy is talking about indirect loss porn. This guy got locked into a 2-year Bloomberg terminal contract. Only used it a dozen times, and that's at least what $2,000 a month, depending on what's his payment plan. But yeah, that adds up quickly. And if anything, he should farm out the license and sell it to someone who would use it. Maybe SVOG. So maybe I should message Silver Mike or Silver Milk. Wait,
Keep in
you
mind
can't do
competitors
that.
too. If you are serious about looking at, because I've known a few people who wanted the tools that are in a Bloomberg terminal. Reuters has a very good competing tool, and there's ways to get it for about $100 a month. I'd have to go back and take a look at my old. It's probably in my old notes that I gave you guys about how to access that tool. But it was one of the top things that I actually learned from the prop traders that I work with in London is like none of them use Bloomberg because it's a ripoff and it's not nearly as good as it used to be. It used to be like, you know, the shit in the 80s and 90s. And there really weren't any competitors. But now there's a ton of sort of scrappy startups, not just Reuters, but others. So, like, if you're a heavy news trader, I use that Reuters tool, and you can set filters. You can do a lot of the same stuff that you would do with a full Bloomberg terminal. It takes a lot of time, obviously, to set that up. But if you're like, I really want to be a news trader and being fast is important to me, there are competing tools out there. So, anyway.
Yeah. Metastock uses that tool, and you can get their data subscription from them too.
Yeah.
I forgot what that they call it. It's Icon or something like that.
Yeah, and
What
there's
are all these
some new
tools?
ones that are pretty good too. Like it's not I'll have to think about it, but there's some new competing tools that are using like different algorithms and stuff to really be right up there. If you're like a serious news trader.
Yeah. Cool. So yeah, don't be a tool like this guy, Mr. Silvermilk. All right. What else is fun? All right, so this is magical. I would love to see the order flow. So this guy turned $400 into 23,000 in 2 days.
Wow.
Just insanity.
How did he do that?
Let's see. Let me see. Where's this post? I don't think he posted a lot. Let's see.
Four
He bought the
Uh,
dollars.
options weren't sold.
yeah,
Huh?
basically. Yeah.
$4? I mean, that's almost like what can you do with $4?
You need perfect plays, basically, right? I mean,
GME,
so,
GME.
someone's got to win, but a lot of people are going to lose because they're late to the party. So the thing about GME and AMC is, what's his name? Deep, the poster from
Kitty, boring
2021.
kitty.
Rolling Kitty. Yeah.
Yeah. So he called himself Deep effing value back then, and now his new handle is Roaring Kitty, and uh, so this tweet went live basically 4 days ago, I believe, and so that's when the action started. So effectively, you had to be in position with a brokerage account set up that you could trade options if you really want to maximize your gains for all these amazing things. So I mentioned a lot of folks weren't set up. So if you missed 2021, then you also probably missed this one because to clear for options accounts, it takes 5 business days, which really means 6 calendar days. So by the time you get your account funded, when you find out about this, by the time you can actually trade it, you're already late to the party. But I guess and you could fire up accounts to buy long stock, I guess. But then you have no defensive strategies, right? Because you can only go long stock. And I imagine everyone who did that probably got hosed. But
I,
yeah.
I I don't know if you guys heard this, but some hedge fund companies bought AMC, I think hundreds of millions of shares of AMC before the run up.
Hmm.
There was news in the news.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
somebody is manipulating something in
I
there.
mean, it's a true pump and dump, right? It's a very stealth entry point, and then people miss the window, and then they screw the entry point up. They come in late, and then they exit late, and then they get their face ripped off. So here's one such character. So this guy, uh, throw in $80,000 on YOLO. So he went all in on $30 long calls on GME. And you guys know what GME is today. It's right at 29 and change. So we'll take a look. I think this guy should be suicidal at this point. Oh, it's recovered a little bit. Okay. Before 10 o'clock, it was under 30. So I figured this guy is probably about to jump off a bridge. Um, but yeah, you you need the calls, you need price action to move. You can't just camp out at your break-even point forever. But yeah. So um looks like he cashed out correctly. I hope he took his money off the table. So supposedly he turned that 80,000 into 202K in theory.
Wow.
But again, this is a balance, right? This isn't the chips are still on the table. It's not really yours. So yeah. So lots of these folks just late to the party, playing with fire. All right. Fun stuff. So that's the idiots of the week. And cool. All right. Let's jump into our toss and look at indexes, our fun part. All right. So as always, we're going to look at the S&P 500 since when we refer to the market, we're referring to the big 500. All right, so ES pretty flat at the moment. Was a bit of did move up earlier, but it's okay now. And let's take a look at the analytics, and specifically we want to look at the deltas of where the bets are for bearish and bullish and put call ratio to get a sense of what the overall sentiment today is. So let's take a look. 2.022 on the put call ratio. Fair value is about 1.4. And if you look at the sizzle index numbers, this is comparing today's volume against the 5-day rolling average. And clearly that's a broken number because it's saying it's moving 36, 50 times more volume today than a normal 5-day average. And looking at the numbers, that's impossible. If anything, this is pretty subdued trading. It's not a lot of contracts, honestly. But yeah, we do see some urgency in the hedging here on the low delta stuff, 81% for the 0 to 20 delta. Yeah, so this is fairly common. They're just short-term hedges. They're not really true speculative bets that there's a 1987 crash coming tomorrow, for example. All right, so that's the supposed smart money on the future side. Let's go to the big boy option contracts, and Don Kaufman calls this the mother of all trading products for a good reason, just because so much money is wrapped up into one SPX contract. I mean, $5,000 a pop, but thank God it's cash settled at the end of the day. Yeah. All right. So yeah, put call ratio here, fair value about 1.3, 1.4, 1.2, very, very normal. Not a lot of urgency in the 0 to 20 delta is only 63%. So yeah, I'd say it's a fairly normal day according to the SPX. Let's pivot down to SPY, which is the retail side of the S&P 500 and the supposed dumb money. And you'll see that sentiment with the SPY, of course, is a little bit more optimistic because for retail traders, hope springs eternal, right? As long as Nvidia is up, everything's okay. And I won't name names. One of my friends that you guys know called me and he told me he's selling his SLV, his silver ETF shares. I'm like, well, you could. You could definitely take profits right now for sure. But I'm expanding operations into metal and I'm long miners and a bunch of stuff now. So I mean, you do whatever you want, but yeah. All right, so S&P, or for at least SPY, 1.1, so fairly a little bit optimistic, and yeah, the deltas aren't urgent at all. So yeah, just another flattish trading day at the moment, looks like. And let's pivot to the Nasdaq. A lot of eyeballs here. I did notice on Swaggy stocks, which is part of my daily workflow. I did notice. I'll show you guys and pull up Swaggy stocks. Today, the Qs showed up right here. So I thought this was interesting that the Wall Street Bets Robinhood kids are trading the Qs. This is like number 4. It's moved down in the last hour, but it was in the top chunk here. So yeah. So let's take a look at the Qs here together. It's whoops, mistyped it. A 4 of a kind is a good hand, but we want the set, the triple, the 3 of a kind.
You want full house.
Full House would be good too. The boat, right? Got the boat. All right. So, all right, we're seeing bullishness here. Fair value is about 1.4. Deltas look fairly boring. And yeah, normal, healthy, slightly bullish trade day with the Qs, but market doesn't seem to be hesitating at the moment. Everyone seems to be retracting from their slight gains this morning. Let's look at the Russell 2000. And we've been talking about small cap stocks for a long time. And this is, again, the Russell 2000 are the 2000 largest companies in the US. And you get a much broader sense of the spectrum. But the Russell 2000 is affectionately called schizophrenic by me because it loves to overreact. It's like that one crazy, ex-girlfriend that just maximum drama. And to me, that's the Russell 2000. So it's usually very depressed, and put call ratio is 2.3, which is normal for this. So 1.41 is relatively bullish. So it's jumping around all over the place. And if we look at the charts, we can probably see how momentum has been changing. And we've been seeing strong inflows lately relative to the other indexes, but how long will that hold? So yeah, it's just today's kind of odd where there's bullish sentiment, but the price is trading downward. So a little bit all over the place. And we didn't look at the charts for the NASDAQ. So let's pull that up and let's see what that momentum line looks like. Looks like with on balance volume. And again, that's one of my favorite studies of all time because uh, to me, it's a lot more surgical than relative strength, the typical RSI. But you got to start somewhere. So, if you go to like stockcharts.com, their default studies are what? MACD, RSI. Every charting thing has MACD and RSI for basics. But to get more surgical, and I think being a surfer and starting to surf like right before COVID, once I was learning about on balance volume, like to me, it's like you can look at the oceans, ebb and flow, and you can trade with the tides basically. And you're leveraging gravity and all kinds of things in there. So to me, yeah, studying momentum from that angle has been really successful and revolutionized my trading. So yeah, so the Nasdaq, yeah, it's been unpopular and a lot of sell-offs, and it's finally dancing with the zero line now. So we'll see if it can hold that. And with that, let's go to the diamonds. The Dow Jones ETF, not the most widely traded index anymore, but we do like to look at it as a data point. So let's pull up the diamonds. DIA. All right, so yeah, we're seeing some positivity from the diamonds at least, or at least for the big 30 that they pick. And yeah, strong inflows. And let's go to the analytics. I think we had some new folks join. Oh, Joseph, welcome, welcome. Let me drop the session notes for you. All right, welcome. Cool. Let's go to the analytics for the diamonds. 0.913. And whereas the Russell 2000 is the schizophrenic kid that's having nightmares by himself in the corner with his eyes open, the Dow Jones to me is the dumb kid that eats glue in the corner, or the other corner in the classroom. So this is typically unapologetically bullish, and today is no exception. And it likes to live at the 1.0 value. So today is very normal. And yeah, it is positive slightly for today. So no exceptions there. Let's take a look at the VIX values. Wani and I were talking the other day about going long the VIX, right? And and of course, when it's 13 and a half, it goes back down to 12 and a half. And it's just hilarious to see the VIX just uh, not account for risk in the marketplace. But yeah, it's just so entertaining. Yeah, we're in the 12.55 VIX environment, and the world's going topsy-turvy. Just it's so entertaining. And what is the dollar strength at? Let's take a look at that. I think I'm jumping ahead a little bit, but where is our US dollar strength? Oh, it's in the Meta Econ thing, I think. No, where is it? Oh no, IOUs. Yeah, put the DIX read here. Okay, looking at the Dixie dollar strength, we're at 104. So not quite at maximum value, but yeah. Okay. 104.4 or 104.5 effectively. Okay, cool. All right, sorry. Let me jump back to our notes. Okay, let's look at the fear and greed index. All right, so this aggregate number has improved greatly. And you saw it dancing at the 30 to 40 level. And now today we're back at 61. Yesterday it was 50. And now apparently everything's okay since the CPI data was positive. So yeah, they're calling positivity because the S&P and the 125-day moving average, the WIP has expanded. So getting back into channel-esque activity. So they're calling that greed. I think it's a little premature, but let's see. Looking at stock price strength, where we're comparing net 52-week highs versus 52-week lows on the New York exchange. It still looks like there's enough lows to take out mini highs. So they're still in the fear territory there. But looking at the stock price breadth with the McKellen index, looking at the overall number of shares rising and falling. So it's less of the extremes of the 52-week comparisons and more of where it is right now. So it's a better slice of the median value. So they're calling it greed. It's kind of like more in the middles or so, but yeah. Um, let's see. They overemphasize the 5-day put call ratio here, not against historical data. But yeah, I think this is I I think they look at this weirdly. But yeah, and then we just looked at the VIX, right? I wouldn't even say this is neutral. Technically, this should be bullish because at 12, that's like a huge low. And we don't stay at these lows very long forever. But yeah. So yeah, we're seeing definitely a lot more optimism, at least according to CNN. All right. Let's go to the Stock Traders Almanac, and we'll see more depressing news here, at least for May into the summer. But yeah, May Almanac. May-June disaster area between 65 and 84, with the S&P down 15 out of 20 Mays. Between 85 and 97, May is the best month with 13 straight gains, gaining 3.3% per year on average, up 17 and down 9 cents. Worst 6 months of the year begin with May, and a $10,000 investment can be compounded to $1.2 million from November to April in 73 years compared to May to October. So we are seeing confirmation of the sell in May and go away, financial proverb here. And Dow Memorial Day week record is up 12 years in a row, down 16 of the last 28. And since 1950, presidential election years ranks May as number 9 for the Dow, number 9 for the S&P, and number 8 for the NASDAQ. And let me just double check. When is Memorial Day this month?
27.
27th? What? Okay. Okay, cool. And what is Trinity Sunday? Okay. All right, cool. 27 coming up. Okay, so yeah, I guess we'll go for we'll set up a holiday trade for the weekend and yeah, we'll play with that. Cool. Let's look down further down the rabbit hole and look at June's almanac reading. And June says the summer rally is the worst years in the weakest rally of all 4 seasons. Week after June triple witching day, Dow down last 26 of the 32. And recent record, S&P is up 12, down 9, averaging a loss of 0.8%, ranking number 11 for the year. Summer doldrums can begin in late June. Watch out for end of quarter portfolio pumping on the last day of June. Dow down 18 of the last 32, NASDAQ up 9 of the last 12. Presidential election years ranks June as number 4 for the S&P, number 5 for the Dow, and number 2 for the NASDAQ. And June ends NASDAQ's best 8 months. And we just talked about the NASDAQ, right? So with a lot of the Robinhood kids even looking at it, we should be looking at probably getting out of positions by June-ish for the NASDAQ. Cool. All right, and then taking a peek at just July, just in case. July is the best month of the third quarter. Start of second half brings an inflow of investment funds. First trading day, Dow up 28 of the last 34. Graph above shows strength in the first half of July. Huge gain in July usually provides better buying opportunity over the next 4 months. Start of NASDAQ's worst 4 months of the year. And presidential election Julys have ranked number 6 for the Dow, number 6 for the S&P, and number 9 for NASDAQ. Cool. So busy summer, busy summer. We'll be trading a lot. And who else knows what else will be happening? And again, it is an election year. I hope it's not 2021 because that was crazy, but I'm expecting fireworks. Again, my apologies. I might have to just buy a stock charts membership again to get access to our sector rotation tool there. But yeah, we'll skip it again this week. We'll circle back hopefully by next week. We talked about earnings, fun stuff there. Let's talk Under Armour that just reported the other day. All right. Looks like they're having a restructuring. There's warning of a collapse in clothing demand, and they're going to try to do buybacks to save the plunging stock. That looks like a nice pair of high top basketball shoes. I would like to get one pair. But yeah. I'm not sure if you guys know, but like for a lot of Asian kids and techies, like they love Yeezys and Jordans, and I've never had either. I've never bought Jordans. Like, why would I ever pay? I mean, how much are Jordans even? Three, four, $500? I have no idea. And I love basketball, but why would I pay that much for basketball shoes? Like, you don't jump any higher, like not really, and you're too afraid to get them dirty or busted. But yeah, I have a couple of friends that are sneakerheads and they collect Jordans, they flip them, they do all kinds of stuff with it. I think they're insane.
Is it a Velben good?
Is it a what?
A Velben good.
What is a Velvet good?
Oh, you should look it up.
Well,
Velben goods are basically status symbols, right?
of
So,
course, of course. But you
you
know,
know, it'd be like a Rolex
oh,
or a fancy car, like they just showed like a luxury car or a luxury purse
okay.
is a typical Velben good. I'm wondering if maybe that has become, like you said, if it's more affluent, like you said, maybe Asians or something that are collecting them, that might be part of it.
Oh no, no. I mean, in the hood, Jordans are really popular because it's all about being hood rich, right? It's you front load all of the glitz and the glamour, and there's nothing on the back end, right? So,
Mm. Is that
um,
like the whole like having the diamond grill and
that's
if it's like
right.
hood
That's
rich,
right.
yeah, okay, okay,
You're right. I mean, Nelly with his grills video, right? He made a video about this, and
right.
what else? Uh, there's another hip hop song. What is it? Air Force Ones. Let me see. Who sang this song? Also Nelly. Okay, there we go. At least it's not Jordan's, but there were other like fun like shoe songs like Vans. This is like high school, college music for me. 14 years ago. Oh my God.
Yeah.
But but yeah,
I
this
mean,
was
is this a way to show status when you don't really have any, like you said, back end wealth or something? Is that sort of the premise?
I mean, the overall
Absolutely.
goal, right, is to get girls. So you can think of all GDP production is purely for women, you
Hmm.
know? So the better comparison is for your Veblen good, what is the outlay divided by the number of orgasms? Like that table would be, where the ROI is. Like what's the maximum efficiency?
Got
Uh
it.
what is the best status symbol to have for an all-around game? So yeah, get your Jordans, get your Rolex out, put diamonds in your teeth and get a Rolls Royce while you're at it.
Yeah, it's an interesting, the whole area of it is very interesting, but I mean, that's also goes into the whole luxury goods sector, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah,
then
it's an
this is
interesting thing in human psychology.
and this is kind of a throwback to COVID origin stories, if you guys remember. Like the first country outside of China to have massive corona outbreaks. Do you guys remember what the next country was?
Was it Italy?
Italy. There you go.
Yeah, yeah,
Lord
yeah.
Tedder's. And the reason for that was it was in the Milan area. And in Milan, there's hundreds of thousands of sweatshop workers that are all Chinese descent. So even though your product says made in Italy, it's the same chinks at the sewing machines as in Hong Kong and Southeast Asia and so forth. It's the same labor pool really. And that's why COVID got into Europe through the Italy vector so fast. Like there was a lady that was bragging about flying to Italy, Chinese COVID woman. She took like enough fever medicine to not look like she had a fever. But let me see. If you guys remember this in 2021, this lady defied China's lockdown at the time and went to Italy and was bragging about it. Let's see if I can find this.
No, I never heard of that.
Oh, okay. I think we talked about it. Let's see. 20 oh the show was 2021. It's 2020. Oh yeah, we're kind of behind schedule, but yeah, there's fun stuff like that. So anyway, yeah. Where am I? Shoes?
Yeah,
Oh,
shoes.
sorry. Okay, Under Armour. So let's talk about Under Armour. They're kind of loosely a relatively more conservative clothing brand, loosely, kind of like Home Depot's founding CEO is like loosely pro-Trump. Um, so it's kind of like on that side of the house. Da, 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 da. But you know what? Let's just go to the charts. Under Armour. What's their ticker again? Under Armour.
UAA.
UAA. And I stopped supporting Nike a long time ago. And then once they got into the sport hijab and social justice warrior stuff, I was like, okay, we're way past that. But yeah, luxury. I mean, the athlete leisure sector has been really popular with like Lululemon and everybody else, but these are still luxury goods, and you don't really need sports equipment or fancy clothes. And I could see why the stock is struggling. So yeah, it's unfortunate. Um, but yeah, we should all look at this. I didn't realize the situation was that bad. But yeah, maybe we should be shorting UAA here.
It had earnings yesterday.
Yeah. And then yeah, but
Yeah.
it's been an outflow city running down the toilet for a lot. And after earnings, it got worse. So
Yeah,
yeah,
I shorted it.
yeah. So yeah, the consumers tapped out. So yeah,
Hmm.
not a great time.
No, but I was thinking the same thing with Walmart. But look at Walmart. Walmart went up a lot today.
Right. So Walmart
That
is
was like surprising.
right. So Walmart's going after the discount angle, right? And um I
It's
guess
up
that's
like four
improved.
bucks.
Yeah.
So doesn't make sense. So I don't know.
Yeah. And here was the highlight I wanted to show you guys was it as higher income consumers trade down or search for deals, Walmart is benefiting from a decision to roll out more discounts and new products and revamping stores. But then what's
I
happening?
mhm. Are
Yeah.
they not having the same issues like a lot of the stores with theft and inflation,
I didn't
like
read the
Target and all that, they all have issues with theft, right?
yeah. So yeah, the self-checkout kiosks. Walmart is starting to remove them from different locations. So
So
it has started.
so maybe we should suspect their earnings report if it's that really true.
I think it is true. But I just think it's kind of an eyesore because the shortage rate, the loss rate from stolen merchandise from here is probably legendary. And you can't talk about that with being really racist if you know what I mean. So they probably don't want to talk about it in depth on the conference call. So it wasn't brought up in the overall article. But yeah, in the back of mind, you definitely should be knowing that, yeah, uh
Exactly.
theft blows you
They,
out of the water. And
right. They probably didn't want to talk about that during the
yeah,
calls, right? Earnings call. So the market likes it. So they pumped it up.
right. And we've seen their margins, right? 2, 3%. So on
Yeah.
the retail side, if one item gets stolen, you have to,
Make it up,
I mean,
how much?
at a 2% margin, how many items do you have to sell just to break
Exactly.
even, right? It's
Exactly.
what's that? So if it's a 2% yield, it's 50 items. So if you steal one, I have to sell 50 to break even. Like that's
Yeah.
nuts. That's nuts. And let's go to the charts. Look at Walmart. And then for all of, for all this more middle class folks, the real question is Walmart versus Costco, right? So yeah, we can compare both tickers. So yeah, Walmart's up 7% for the day, 7-11% exactly. And yeah,
Yeah.
lots of inflows. And yeah, being a discount grocer will definitely be good when people tighten their budgets. And that's why we got to look at the next tier of more affluent consumers, right? So the Costco folks. And Costco's, stock has been, again, amazing. And, Dan Sheridan loves Costco, talks about Costco all the time for a good reason. Again, this is kind of like, one of the greatest things about America as a society is the strength of our middle class. Even though it's being attacked, even though it's being hurt right now, historically, we've had unrivaled amounts of just I guess general society happiness because our middle class is so healthy and so robust for a long time. Yes, it's changed in recent moments, but relatively speaking, yeah, it's been interesting.
The middle class is getting killed though.
Oh yeah, right now it's bad, but Costco and Walmart, that one's lower middle class, one's kind of upper middle class, and yeah, they've both benefited for sure.
But isn't there something about like even people making over 100K, they shop at Walmart too.
Yeah, it's happened.
So yeah.
I mean,
So
we've seen
people,
the, I mean,
yeah.
we've seen the Indian data, right? Where for H-1B and international students from last week. And if you go to like Walmart Milpitas, it is predominantly Indians with a little bit of Mexicans, and that's about it. So yeah, demographics are changing, and yeah, the Bay Area is getting more Indian quickly. So,
Very
uh,
much so. Yeah.
yeah, and they've also been able to like resurrect a lot of dying retail sites with Indian cuisine, Indian cash and carry grocery stores. So that's kind of cool to see some revitalization in some districts just with Indian people moving in. So
And they're
uh,
buying up homes too, buying up
yeah,
home all in cash with cash.
yeah. And so like in the East Bay, real estate is a little bit cheaper. So you're seeing gentrification with Asian techies and Indian techies. And then you're also seeing crime from the brown and black components also skyrocket. So as it's gentrifying, the poor classes are also pushing back with home robberies and GTA and all kinds of fun stuff. Okay, cool. So let's see what Ed posted here or shared with us here. The Senate is passing a CRA overturning blah, blah, blah. It's a win for financial innovation and clear rebuke of the way Biden, Abbott, and Gary Gensler have persecuted people. Yeah. It also marks the first time Congress has passed standalone crypto legislation.
So this was big news that just hit this morning, but basically, I'm sure you've heard of Senator Warren's anti-crypto army, and there's been a lot of various crackdowns. We basically have been offshoring our innovation for the last 6 months. We've been saying, here, Hong Kong, here, rest of the world, here's a gift. So this was a big pushback. And what was interesting was we had Democrats in the House originally saying, they wouldn't pass it. Biden is still threatening to veto this one, although that seems like there were a number of key Democrats in the Senate who have turned on this. And so an interesting sort of implication, we may start seeing voters, especially younger voters, becoming single issue voters on, you could say Bitcoin, but crypto more broadly. Anyway, it's interesting in the sense that we've seen I think we've talked about it, some pretty interesting anti-privacy laws coming out and sort of implications. We just saw, I think it was the Netherlands has implicated this week the Tornado Cash founders, which basically the TLDR, like why should you care if you're not even in the crypto space, is essentially what the Netherlands judges, and we've seen similar things with the charge of Samurai Wallet here in the US. Basically, if you write open source code and the government doesn't like it, and any criminals basically use your open source code, you can be held accountable. So this is the same as saying I create cars, and if anybody uses the cars that I sell, then I go to jail. Ford. If I create it, it goes back to sort of the original gun argument, but much more broadly in the sense that if I create some sort of open source product or code or software and any bad people use it, then I can be charged with that, which is just madness, tyranny, absolutely against any sort of capitalism, you name it. So anyway, this is interesting because we're now starting to see a significant pushback on this politically, and could have very interesting implications in the upcoming election. So
that's almost like a financial RICO charge in a way.
sorry, I'm not familiar with what that term is, I guess.
Oh, so RICO Act is like it's gang affiliation. Oh, let me pull it up. It's a way to turn certain charges. You can scale certain charges to a greater extent because you can say there's
Oh,
racketeering,
racketeering.
tax evasion. It's like a this is like the super combo shot of felonies basically at the federal level to
Yep.
really squash you. So I mean, they use the RICO Act to get the Proud Boys, January 6 folks, like turning a small thing into a much bigger thing by saying there's a organized criminal element behind it. So there's scalability, intention, motive, and ability to execute larger crimes.
Yeah, and I think it actually goes back. It's interesting. Biden, I didn't realize this, in the 90s was one of, as a senator, was a big proponent against at the time, and this, may not be something folks are mostly aware of, but basically there was a big push to make cryptography essentially a official weapon, right? That could not be used basically by the public. I mean, basic cryptography, any sort of privacy, right? And so what developers did at the time was they started printing out the code on a T-shirt and saying, this is illegal, and or weapons of mass destruction. I think that's what it was being coded as at that time, was that basically any sort of self-sovereignty or privacy was being treated as a weapon of the state, which is just absolutely absurd. It's like making math illegal. And that was kind of something a few Bitcoiners pointed out. There was actually a guy, I think I mentioned this the other week, who put together like a wooden cryptography puzzle box that would basically allow you to spit out cryptographic wallet seeds, using nothing more than a jigsaw puzzle, and you could
Right.
write it down on a piece of paper. Like, it's basically like making thinking illegal. I mean, we have fully gone 1984 on this whole thing, which is basically, yeah, if you use math, you could go to jail. That's the TLDR. So anyway, not surprisingly, some people are starting to push back on this insanity.
Yeah, and when you're over the target area, that's where the flack really increases. So when you're seeing pushback, it's a good thing. It's a good thing.
No, I think it's signs of a healthy democracy. Well, you can argue how
Yeah,
healthy it
yeah,
is, but at least it's not. We haven't gone full China yet. I
yeah,
will
yeah,
say.
yeah. Not yet, not yet. We don't have to rush it. All right. Cool. We jumped around a little bit, but yeah, let's circle back to our econ news and let's take a look at US industrial production figures. So this is adjacent to PPI data and so forth. So for month over month of April, let's see, we had weaker than the modest 0.1% increase that was expected. So slight drawdown, if anything. And year over year, it's down 0.14%. And 13 of the last 13 months have seen a negative trend overall. So US manufacturing not having a great time. So yeah. And let's look at yeah, so we can skip the bridge thing. We talked about that. Flu, I mean, we kind of talked about the intro, not really tradable, but I just want this on our radar screen. If they're going to have a pandemic again, looks like it's going to come from this vector. So, um, Bill Gates has admitted multiple times, right? Like the next pandemic will be far worse. And yeah, not great. But yeah, here's some more PPI information. Let's see. April producer prices rose overall 0.5% month over month versus the estimated 1.3, sorry, 0.3. And yeah, so a lot of folks were supposing that since PPI was hotter than expected, CPI will be the same. But again, CPI has changed the basket of buyables and household wares quite a bit, so much for their own political purposes that it's kind of a worthless read for the most part. But yeah, cool. All right, we'll skip our black swans and theaters of war. We already know about that. We talked about CME with spot Bitcoin being launched. Thank you, Ed, for the latest legal update from freaking Pocahontas. What state does Pocahontas represent again? So,
Massachusetts.
okay, should know. Okay. Ugh. All right. Yeah, California, where we've run out of fresh unicorn farts to finance the state with. Um, we talked about the expansion of Social Security to the SNAP folks. Oh, I saw a good meme the other day on a different libertarian forum. It says something like, if you are sending money to foreign countries, then you're probably taxing your citizens too much. And it's like, hey, yeah. All right. And then looking at getting voter IDs in time for November, looks like ICE might be able to help with compliance for that. This isn't the way we expected, but you know, for the only country on the planet that even offers anchor babies to begin with for US citizenship, this is more of the same crazy or similar level of crazy. But yeah, you can expect ICE to start issuing IDs, and God knows where that will lead to. But yeah, this is supposedly for administrative efficiencies. Yeah, when bureaucrats run things. Wonderful. But yeah, we talked about 737 stuff in the intro. Boeing again, yeah, on the chart, it's having a grand old time. And yeah, just waiting for my soft shorts to pay off. But that's my only, like, I have like 20 winners today, and this is like the only holdout. But yeah, up 3% today. It's like, okay. Uh, yeah, I'm so confused by Boeing. But again, yeah, Boeing gets a lot of help from all sides of the media since it's a
Someone said since they killed two of the whistleblowers, it's bullish.
it's bullish. The poor hitman. He's like, oh, 10 more whistleblowers came out of the woodwork. Oh man, more overtime. Uh, and don't forget, the FAA is also complicit at the regulatory level. So remember, there is a diversity push for severe intellectual and psychiatric disabilities. This is real. So this is from January 2024. So yeah. And we can go to the website. Here's looks like the says something else. Okay, but yeah. So that's Boeing. We'll skip that. Let's talk beef. All right. So we've been talking about beef for steadily for the last 2 years, and the national beef cattle herd size as a whole is tumbling. And here's a link to the February 2024 analytics, and here's the herd as a whole. So, let's see. It would be cool to overlay this against the S&P. Let's see. Can we look at U.S. cattle herd against and S&P 500? That'll be a fun chart. Can we find one? Is this it? No. Oh, this is Australia. Something else. Okay. Probably can't find this that quickly, but that's okay. But yeah, looking at the size of the herd, yeah, we're on a downtrend, and the herd was over 120 million heads back in the mid 70s. Wow. Okay. And we're back to 1951 levels. Oh, wow. Scary. Okay, back to our article. Um, Shrinking herds means fewer cows. The latest slaughter price per 100 pounds is around 186, the highest ever and in breakout territory. I didn't know they were tracking butchering prices, but why not, right? So yeah. So here is I guess you could call this the wholesale labor cost for chopping up a cow. It is $186. And uh, to shift gears to what Ed's Bitcoin team and I were talking about last night, we were meeting to hang out, and we're talking about doing group buys for basic food staples, starting with meats, but looking at also maybe raw milk, cheeses, eggs, flour, and just really trying to get secondary food supply chains set up. And yeah, maybe Ed, if you want to kind of elaborate a little bit about like what fun projects you guys have done before with like your past beef buys and whatnot, would be kind of fun to share. And meanwhile, I'll pull up the rates you shared with us earlier. If you're there, Ed. Beef. Cow. Maybe Ed stepped away. Oh, here we go. I got the data here. So here's the 2024 beef options. So there is for a full cow, it's about 4 grand. So for a half is about almost 2,100. A quarter is about 1,000. So yeah. What's the overall yield percentage? I think it's like 60 to 65%. And so yeah. So yeah, Ed, are you back by any chance? Maybe you're away from your desk. But yeah, well, anyway, I'll keep you guys posted. Is anyone in the near term looking to buy beef? I can put you on our list. I think if for sure it's myself and Rob that's interested. But yeah, if you guys are interested, just let me know. Or Ed. All right, cool. And let's look at the Tyson stock really quick as well. They just had earnings, which is why there's all this news from their releases. And Tyson hasn't been having a great time. So they're the second largest food processor in the world. And yeah, it's not at all-time highs. It's kind of like a little channel bound somewhat. But yeah, some strong inflows for the last 90 days at least. Okay. All right, let's get back to our notes. So yeah, watch out for your beef. And yeah. All right, let's shift gears to logistics. And trucking is definitely important. And my dad and uncles, they all started trucking companies. So it was kind of cool to see, just big rigs everywhere growing up. Um, but yeah, so for April, shipments declined year over year 4%, expenditures declined 17%. And what is this TL line haul index? I'm not familiar with this. Let's see if we can Google that. TL line haul index. What the hell is this? Oh, cool. Is this a trucking KPI basically? Maybe we just found a new cool indicator to follow up on. If the internet will cooperate. Okay, let's see. Where's the index? I need a chart. No chart. Okay, looks like Cass Info's website's down. And let's try to find this some other way. Um, Come on. All right. This is the Case Transportation Index reports. Oh, this is from 2020. I can look this up on my own time, but yeah, I'm not sure what that indicator is. So it does seem interesting. But yeah, so logistics are not doing well, and we've seen related industries, right? Like FedEx, UPS also suffering as well. Um, I was talking to a FedEx guy earlier this week, just out and about. I'm just asking him if he's heard good or bad things about UPS's bought and sold routes because we were looking at them before, right? A while back, like you can buy UPS routes for sale. And I asked him like, what's the word on the street? And he said generally they're bad deals. The best routes don't get sold, and all the ones that are sold are obviously have problems, and that's why they're being liquidated because you don't give up cash cows. But he's never worked for UPS, so like that. Like that's just what he said. So, I mean, it's only a sample size of one, but at least good to know. Let's see if we can find something. Oh wow, you're selling pool routes, sweet Pepperidge Farm snack routes? I never even heard of this. Um, I mean, I sold the remnants of my candy machine route on Craigslist. Uh, I don't think any of the people I sold it to ran it successfully. I think I was the last one. But there's a bread route. Oh, here's a FedEx route. Here we go. Um, Asking price 2.1 million, cash flows half of that. What's that? A 20 like a 23% ROI first year? That's crazy.
I mean, but you're basically buying a business, right? So
Yeah. Yeah.
there's some risks involved.
But yeah, let me drop this in the chat if you guys want to look at this commercial brokers listings. Kind of fun stuff. Not my field of expertise. My stuff is more on buying multi-units. Um, but yeah. Okay, cool. All right, so logistics, that's a good indicator of overall business activity, and that's having some problems. But yeah, let's see. Going back to California news, lots of folks are pushing back against the state mandates for carbon compliance, and electric trucks definitely will be affected. And yeah, buses, big rigs, diesel and gasoline have a place. They're just more efficient and operationally a lot easier to run. So yeah, we'll see if these multi-state coalitions being led by Nebraska. Oh wow, Nebraska's doing a lot of stuff, right? From doing positive gold and silver stuff and banning CBDCs and other relevant items. So yeah, we'll see how this shakes up. But yeah, that's underway. But yeah, Ozempic's doing well. We've talked about them a lot in the past, but yeah, I thought this was a good stat. So 1 in 8 US adults have done it. So they're probably not our demographics, but yeah, probably younger, probably females. But yeah. Over half of US aliens are in US are unemployed. I just don't want to share the headline with you guys. It's not really tradable, but yeah. Meanwhile, let's see if Red Lobster, do they have a stock? But yeah, we can look at our type 2 diabetes watch list. Oh, okay. So it looks like it rolls up to Darden restaurants. Okay. So Darden is a they manage multiple brands of restaurants, not just like Olive Garden, Macaroni Grill. They franchise from the corporate level like hundreds of restaurants, and they run them regionally. So let's see, they haven't had a great time lately. So let's pull up the bigger charts. DRI. All right, Darden, decent inflows, kind of slow. Looks slightly okay overall, actually, but looks like we're dancing between the 500-day and 200-day moving average now. And it tested the bottom and yeah, just playing around, skimming it perfectly. Okay. This would be hard to trade though. And it looks like it's pacing the S&P 500 very closely. Oh wow, look how bearish it is. Holy cow. What? 42 on the put call ratio. Someone knows something. Why is it so bearish? Wow. Wow. Something's happening. Okay. Bid ask spread is really terrible. So yeah, you'd have to buy puts. Yeah, you cannot sell call spreads here. You will not get a good fill. Okay. Yeah, lots of money here. Maybe at the 130 mark. Yeah, interesting. Okay. But yeah, let's take a look at our other tickers in our restaurant list. Let's fire up the old type 2 diabetes. Looking at, okay, so here's McDonald's, sector leader, got Coca-Cola, Pepsi, Starbucks. Here's DRI right here, Darden. Here's QSR, here's Domino's, Chipotle, Yum China. Here's Eat with the Brinker side, Cheesecake Factory, Jack in the Crack, Papa John's. Okay. And if we go to McDonald's, which we now know, we'll talk about them in just a bit too, but McDonald's has the highest price inflation on their menu and record profits and declining business. It's a weird time to be a discount food fast food guy. But yeah, let's see. Momentum's not been positive. It's been in sell-off city for the last almost over 2 months, the last three. And let's see what today's betting public thinks of this. Kind of a mixed bag in the middle. Uh, Not really going in any particular direction. Okay. But let's take a look at Starbucks. And we know that post earnings, there's a lot of corrections there on their future guidance that they scaled down. And they're also saying the same, that folks are just not spending as much money. So yeah, Starbucks here, tough time here, big gap down post earnings. We talked about that. And yeah, overall momentum, it's mostly sell off. The zero line is right here, and they've been playing below that for a long time. And it's already down over 0.5% for today. And maybe I need to add some, come back in and do some shorting for in earnest. Yeah, 32,000 calls against 16,000 puts. Fairly neutral-ish, but yeah. Oh, they have a slight tiny dividend. Okay. All right, so that's the restaurant apocalypse. Let's see, New Jersey is having decreased foot traffic, in New York as well. Let's look at the overall national side. So yeah, the woes in California with minimum wage, I mean, that's only the beginning. So we imagine that will spread out in many different areas. Oh, this is I think I pasted the wrong article. Oh, this is something else. Okay, that's okay. All right, we'll skip it. Yeah, so we talked about the unhappy meal, and here's some specific California reactions. So now that we have all the most of the April data, California fast food prices rose 7% because of the $20 wage increase. So part of the reason for this is since fast food workers are being paid more, um, everyone gets a raise because now the dishwasher, you have to raise his rates because why wouldn't he go get a better paying job at the restaurant next door? You know, if you're going to keep his wages stagnant while everyone else is getting a raise. That's even if you paid him more than $20 an hour. It's sort of like you're crowding at the bottom because the ground is moving. So yeah, we're gonna enjoy higher prices in California. Yay for food prices. All right. So yeah, Ford came out also with updates on their loss per EV. So it's $100,000. And I think Rivian is a lot worse than this, and Fisker is just as bad. Okay. Let's get to other fun stuff. US housing starts. Permits ugly in April after huge revisions. That's basically the news. But to play on permitting data, we have to look at the home builder ETF, which is ITB. And let's pull that up. ITB has like paint companies, Home Depot, Lowe's, home builders, that kind of stuff. And we're seeing it's again very thinly traded for the day, but yeah, it has slowed down, but it's forming a sort of a cup, not really a handle, but a cup. And yeah, it's kind of a little all over the place. So yeah, some shakiness finally showing up in the ITB ETF here. And let's look at the commercial real estate and the banking sector really quick as well. So American bankers reporting that 44% of banks' office loans are underwater and with surging vacancies. Oh, there's a paywall. And let's go to the tickers then. Let's look at some big REITs that we know about. Here's SPG, which is a throwback to COVID days. This is shopping malls and strip centers or strip malls. And Gap didn't pay them in 2021, if I remember correctly. So yeah, this is a little choppy, but it's still relatively okay. So not quite a commercial real estate contagion here just yet. And let's look at some regional banks. There's a regional bank ETF, KRE, and it's having a grand old time. What insolvency problems are you talking about here? Looks like we're in a lot of sell-offs here, but price action has gone up. Interesting. And let's look at the betting public and see what they're thinking. Looking at the option stats, a little bearish, not really. Kind of holding their breath. Let's see if we can see what the current makeup is of the top holdings. So let's see. Western Alliance, that's a name we know. What else? New York Community Bank, the crazy one. What else? That's the only major ones I recognize. Let's look at NYCB since they were grabbing a lot of headlines before. But they keep getting bail-ins, which is the one trouble of shorting banks is they might get a huge bail-in and rip your trade apart. So New York Bank Corp here looks like it's kind of recovering. Yeah, not much to do with it, especially at $3 and some and change. Okay. So yeah, well, that's real estate and banking, I guess. Let's get to tech news. Tesla. Oh my God. Elon is just crazy, going just all kinds of craziness. Let's start with the first article. And I posted a good Elon breakdown video in Discord if you guys want to check it out. But yeah, looks like this is now the 4.5 week of layoffs officially for Tesla. And they're having substantial issues with sales in general. So that's why capacity has been cut so drastically. And it's not just Austin and Fremont, but other sites as well. So let's see. This is funny. So yeah, vaporware. So Elon has been promising full self-driving for quite some time, and now he's restructuring for a lot of the terminology to be supervised full self-driving. And if we look at his highway crash data, he's been trying to show that it's not full self-driving killing the passengers because uh, this full self-driving turns off the second before impact. Therefore, it was not full. It was not the FSD's fault that you know, impaled into a concrete wall or a truck. And yeah, and then amongst the other firing problems, we can jump ahead a little bit. Elon fired his entire supercharging team, which is about 500 people. And where's that article? Oh, here we go. Elon laid off the entire Tesla supercharger team. Now he's rehiring some of them. And yeah, and this is again pure craziness. Like he got the green light to sell his infrastructure, his charging infrastructure to his competitors, and that should be a nice cash cow. And here he does this thing to destroy the rollouts. Like, what is he thinking? And then next thing you know, all of the sites are getting robbed. And it's like, I wonder who knows all of the location data and has knowledge of, operational check-ins and, when the sites will be unoccupied and available for outright robbery. So yeah, Elon didn't think this through. And yeah, Elon's finally been proven true as a professional grifter and con artist. And we're going to see one of the greatest wealth transfers and collapses of such a popular meme stock. Um, yeah, let's go to Tesla. And he's burned so many people. Like for the Tesla Roadster from 2017 that he announced, he took $50,000 deposits for the Founder series. He hasn't talked about it, hasn't delivered. That was from 2017. So all kinds of craziness. So yeah, here's Tesla, really choppy momentum, generally bearish. And yeah, it's just seen better days. Just utter value destruction here. And if we go to the betting public, let's see what today's traders are thinking. Pretty bearish, 0.906. Yeah, every day is like this. Careers were destroyed before trying to short Tesla, but now timing and financials and price action has confirmed these trends. So yeah, Elon, beware. All right, just jump back to our notes and get off of our slight Tesla digression and go back to our notes here. But yeah, we're seeing a lot of pileups of unsold Teslas domestically and internationally, especially in certain markets. Cool. All right, let's take a look at AT&T. We haven't talked about the big three telecom guys in a while. And let's see, AT&T and AST Space Mobile have entered a definitive commercial agreement to provide a space-aged broadband network direct to everyday cell phones. This agreement extends until 2030. Okay. And let's see. I haven't looked at AST. Let's take a look at that. AST. Okay, so here's AST, the new partner with AT&T. Okay, kind of a boring stock. What's AT&T's ticker? T. Okay, let's look at just T. T, let's see. Oh my. Looks like quite the dog overall. Um, choppy, choppy, choppy. Um, yeah, this looks like a dangerous stock to play. Uh, is the volatility high enough just to milk it sideways? Not really. Huh, okay. Yeah, mixed bag. Okay. But yeah, another weird, boring telecom update. Okay. Thanks, AT&T. Good luck with the space launch. All right. Other phone stuff. Let's see. Google smartphone has a loyalty problem. You think? Um, the Googler roommate that I was living with during the start of COVID, the wife worked on the Pixel team, and I asked like, how many people on the team have Pixel phones? She's like, nobody. Nobody uses it. I mean, they were all given samples to play with and test things on, but everyone has an iPhone. I found that really funny. Let's see. Oh, here we go. All right. Google smartphones loyalty problem. How likely are you to change your smartphone brand at the next possible occasion? Apple, 50% unlikely, 34% likely. Samsung, 44% very unlikely, and 4% very likely. Google is the most, I guess, this is the most uh, elastic demand for getting out of the Pixel ecosystem. So yeah, uh, no surprises there. Okay. Or just a soft survey. Does anyone on this call have a Google Pixel phone?
I used to, and I got rid of it.
Well, what was your experience with it?
Um, there was a lot of bloatware. This was probably, at least 5, 7 years ago. So this was one of the earlier models. But yeah, it didn't compete, didn't keep up with it was, running on a lot of the similar technology as the Samsung, didn't keep up on features. So like if you're going to be an Android user, you need features and you need the tech to be on the cutting edge, right? And it was always behind on like updates and stuff like that compared to like the Samsung. And it had a bunch of bloatware. It made a lot of promises and it just didn't deliver. It was one of the phones where I was like, I just didn't feel like I got my money's worth or my value out of it. And I think afterwards I ended up switching over to Apple, but I was like, if I wasn't in, and that was more family related, but if I wasn't going to do that, I was going to go back to the latest Samsung.
So I've had the past three versions, the 6, the 7, and the 8, and I love it.
You have it now?
Yeah, yeah. It's fast, it stays up to date. Um, there's certain things that I can't live without and I wouldn't have on Apple. So, you know,
How does it compare to the other Android phones at this time? Would you say like the latest
they say so between
Samsungs?
Samsung and Pixel, those are the two flagships.
So
Okay.
I had a phone call, but yeah, I have Pixel 8 and 8 Pro.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's got some features like you, Warren. It has a built-in Shazam style app that does not need connectivity. You could be on a different planet and play music. It's all built in, and it's automatically updated based on YouTube info. So it knows all the songs. You could go in the desert to a festival and get all the playlist without any connectivity.
And then look,
And
Hamas is flying over.
and then like it has an AI, the recorder is an automatic transcript, and now they're doing AI with speaker recognition. So you could
Wow.
like record a meeting and it's all there in text, so you can skip to the part you want.
So it never turns off, basically. It's always listening.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That stays. That's without a connection. So
That's
that
true with all of our phones, though,
Yeah.
Warren.
Yeah.
Constant surveillance. What
But
about the price? Price compare with Apple or
Oh,
Samsung?
it's
well,
really good.
Apple's going to be the most expensive for sure. There's
Yeah,
no
Apple's
question there.
always overpriced anyway. All
Yeah.
Apple products are overpriced.
So
The only
the
reason I have Apple is because I get them given for free. I would never pay retail for what Apple charges because it's insane.
Yeah.
my choice at the same price would be like $1,000 Pixel or $1,000 Apple. I'm
Mhm.
I'm picking Pixel
Oh,
because
wow.
Yeah,
it meets my needs. So
And it sounds like it's keeping up better with the Samsung tech because I know when I had it, they were still relatively new, the Pixels.
yeah. They've changed a lot. So if you look at like the photos, the camera comparison sites and all that, so it's definitely keeping up.
right. Also, the other thing, it's pure in Android. There's no Samsung crap on top of it.
Yeah, there's
They've
no
gotten
bloatware.
rid of the
It's
bloatware. That's
oh, yeah.
awesome because that was the thing that was killing me is like Google said, like when they originally, and again, this was when dinosaurs roamed the earth, so it was probably like a Pixel 3 or 4 or whatever the hell. Um, they said they weren't going to do the bloatware, and then they reversed course, and so it sounds like they got rid of that, that was the main reason why I was just like, I'm done with it, because yeah, nobody loves that, and
Right.
that was one of my things that I didn't like about the Samsungs that they were doing as well. It seemed like bloatware was everywhere. It was like, look, I didn't want an HP compact desktop, people, because of the bloatware. Same concept.
Yeah. Yeah. So this is clean. You also get any security updates as soon as they come out.
Very nice.
You don't have to wait for Samsung to qualify it on their hardware.
Are you
Cool.
guys on the Google Fi network?
I am, yeah. I have one phone on the Fi.
Has that worked out well for you guys?
It's doing okay. I also have data for my iPads. So So I have them all together.
Nice.
And for a single person, I think it's reasonable family. I haven't really checked any family plans, but the maximum per month for single is like $60. You get 3 gigabits of data, and then you pay for it. Uh, as much as you use, you pay on top of that. And I think it starts at $20 a month or something.
Mm.
Okay,
So
cool. Yeah,
the hardware's solid.
okay. Great to hear.
Yeah, might have to check that out when I stop getting free iPhones.
Yeah.
I'm cheap. That's all I can say. I'm not paying for a damn phone. Like $1,000 for a phone. Anyway, that's a different rant. I'm just a
Yeah.
cheap ass motherfucker. That's really what it
Hey.
boils down to.
Well, you can always get the older models on eBay for, a little bit
Yeah,
cheaper.
Well,
I never buy the new ones anyway.
the
yeah,
thing,
smart.
one more
Yeah,
thing
I always
about
buy the older model, like one or two models behind. It's
well,
okay. It's just phone.
you have to worry about just any updates. So, like for the Pixel 8, it's Google's own processor. So it's going to get like 6 years of updates. They don't obsolete it.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah, that was another concern I was starting to run into the Androids was, and this was again 7 years ago or so, is they were starting to obsolete these things after like 2 to 4 years. And I'm like, look, like you don't
Mm.
know me. Like I ain't even getting started,
Yeah.
at 4 years.
Yeah, mostly it was because of Qualcomm and the Snapdragon. So Qualcomm stopped supporting it, then you got no choice. And so Google went off and developed that, yeah, the Tensor chip. And so they're in control of supporting it.
That's awesome. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to
It's
go check that
extremely
out.
fast. It's even the six. The only reason I switched it because I dropped it on its face and I cracked the screen, but it will keep up with anything. My wife has a six. I'm on the eight now. A tip about eBay and buying used: check the box for refurbished when you buy it, and it will come with
Mm.
an automatic 1 year Allstate insurance plan. So whatever you pay, it includes an extended warranty basically for 1 year. So, any stuff you buy on eBay, instead of just clicking used, click the refurbished. So then that qualifies. And on the right side, it will say you're automatically enrolled in a 1 to 2 year plan. So
Mm.
and
I usually
only
when
the
I buy,
best, only the
I
best,
usually, Mhm.
only the best sellers on eBay qualify to have that designation as refurbished.
Yeah, here
Yeah,
we go.
I
Certified
usually don't
refurbished.
like
Yeah.
refurbished.
Yeah,
I
there you
don't
go.
like refurbished though.
Well, I mean, as opposed to being used from some random guy.
No, I usually buy new ones. You can buy new
Okay.
ones, like older models, like
Yeah,
maybe.
it's rare to have it new if it's 2 years old.
Amazon also sells a lot of refurbs too.
But
Yeah, but the point
refurbished.
is the
Yeah.
point is that warranty. Because I mean,
Yeah.
if it's between Amazon at the same price,
Yeah, then this is
I'll pay
better. Yeah.
eBay the same price and get a 1 year. So if something happens in 6 months, at least I get my money back
Yeah.
or get it fixed.
Hmm.
But you can buy new ones, like the older models, like maybe iPhone 12, 13, or whatever, a few years back, new ones,
Yeah.
for a little bit cheaper. I don't trust refurbished phones or any electronic devices. I don't know, just don't like it. I just want new, but older models. Save a
Hmm.
little money. Yeah.
I mean, you shouldn't trust your phone generally. I think is probably wise.
But we need it, right? We need our
Yeah, but you
phone.
shouldn't trust it. Yeah, no.
No, we should not. Um, our
Cool.
whole life is on the phone.
Basically.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's the problem.
that is the problem. Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean, like if you forget your wallet at home, it's okay. But if you forget your phone, you have to run back, right? And whatever.
Usually.
Yeah, because everything is on the phone. You pay on your phone, everything.
All right. Let's shifting out of Google, let's talk Nvidia really quick. Nvidia rivals gold as a shield against inflation. And I guess in
Really?
parentheses, super micro included, right?
That's
So just
crazy.
one quick go back. Did you see the seasonal chart that posted yesterday about Google
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
stock?
uh, when was that?
On the Discord, I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Yesterday, Kurt.
it could have been, I don't know if it was news. Uh, anyway, the quick one while you're searching is that seasonality wise, Google's in a bull market from
Oh,
now until the
earnings.
end of the year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh, there we go. That's right. The summer seasonality, right? Yeah, you posted earnings somewhere.
And
But can you trust the seasonal?
well, that's kind of the whole question. I mean, it's data,
Yeah. It
it's
could be
every
so many variables,
there
could
there
be
is
so
Yeah,
many
yeah.
things.
I mean, it's kind of like the almanac, right? It's not perfect,
Exactly.
but it's nice to know what the historical trend was.
right.
So,
And so between this last quarter and the next quarter is typically up.
Mm-hmm.
so yeah.
Just keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
Long
Google's
Google,
doing really good,
unfortunately. Yeah.
unfortunate. Yeah.
Okay, back to regular programming.
Mhm. No worries. Let's see. But yeah, Nvidia, let's see. We asked which haven protects the best against inflation. Folks say gold, US tech stocks, other, and Bitcoin. Okay.
That's
It
crazy though, that people think like that.
uh but this is a new economy, Wani. You know, everything's different. AI is the future, right? So yeah. But yeah, that's just word on the street at least. Okay. Um, we'll skip the jobless stuff. That's all doctored. That's not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was some heat. Again, I'm a little fuzzy on the Slovakian assassination attempt. Supposedly he was kind of, a Russian sympathizer and almost died. And will someone come back to finish the job? Who knows? But thought that was interesting. And let's see, South Korea still dominates the world, the highest density of robot workers. And let's see, leading the field, South Korea, Germany, Japan, China, Sweden, Switzerland, USA, Italy, Canada, and France. Okay. But yeah, that's like two, three, maybe even four standard deviations above these guys. Holy cow.
I thought countries like the US, with all their human Amazon workers, had the biggest robot workforce because they're working like robots.
They certainly feel like it, like peeing into bottles to save on bathroom time. That's kind of intense.
That can't be true.
What? It's true. Yeah, it's true.
Really?
Yeah, you can Google it. There's lots of photos. Yeah, it's a little close to
Yeah.
lunchtime, maybe, it's okay. All right. Um, where do you want to not be having babies? Countries with the highest infant mortality. All right, good to know. Um, Afghanistan. Oh my God. This is per thousand. This is horrible. That means like 10% of all babies die in Afghanistan. Oh my God. That shouldn't be happening. That's ridiculous. Somalia, 85 out of 1,000 die. Central African Republic, Guinea, Sierra Leone, Niger, Chad, South Sudan, Mozambique, Congo, Mali, Angola, Liberia, Comoros, Nigeria. Yeah.
It's all third world countries.
It's Africa. It's West Africa primarily. Yeah.
Yeah, because
Um,
there's no health services.
no, no, no. We've been
No?
throwing money there for a long time. It's just like no, they're really low IQ. Like when you're dealing with 60 populations of IQ 60 and 70, it's just a nightmare. It's just super corrupt. They're extremely short-sighted. There's no long-term planning. It's just really hard to do business. Like to have a functioning democracy, everyone has to be like 100 IQ. And when like yeah, it's just tough. This is why like I discount Africa in a big way. Like I know it's booming, I know it looks great, but we've seen this before where third world countries, because they're starting from, dirt floors. Yeah, you can have 5% GDP growth for 20 years and it looks amazing on paper, but there's holes in infrastructure and culture and other things that are problems. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. On the other side of the spectrum, one side, Afghanistan people are dying. When is Afghanistan going to get its first aircraft carrier? Uh, Maybe in 10,000 years, who knows? Anything's possible, but yeah. The United States has 11 carriers, right? US carriers. I imagine they're all nuclear powered. France has one that's nuclear powered, and nobody else has uh, uh, any other nuclear powered carriers. That's it. But yeah, we are the big ass Roman Empire, as it were. It's just wild. Hey, Thailand has one. That's incredible.
Oh, I
There's
see that.
there's a
Yeah.
Thailand carrier.
Wow.
There's a Top Gun in Thailand. Who is
Oh,
that guy?
really?
There's a, there's one badass. The best pilot in Thailand is somewhere. That's so cool. Let's see. Um, it's from the 90s. Okay, it's the smallest functioning aircraft carrier in the world. Hey, it still counts as a carrier, you know? If it has planes, it has planes. That's cool. Wait, how many planes does it have? Let's see.
It's probably funded by the US.
For sure. It carries helicopters. That's it. Oh, okay, it's too small for jets because yeah, that deck looks really small. It's mainly for helicopters and other like vertical takeoff oriented stuff. Yeah.
Why would you need a sloped deck for a helicopter?
I don't know. It must have been a reject. Yeah.
Well,
It has the
from
it
that,
has the ski jump thing. Yeah.
yeah, looks like from the picture. It was earlier picture you saw. There was a Harrier jet there.
Yeah,
Uh,
I saw it, yeah, on the deck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. Yeah, and so the Harrier can use the ski jump to take a bigger payload.
Yeah. And if you think about it this way, at least this aircraft carrier, it's old, but it works, right? And China's aircraft carriers, none of them work and they're stuck in port. So Thailand wins on this, you know?
So
It's
China cannot attack us.
they're a paper tiger, yeah, it's not really an issue. But they'll talk about it all day. All right. Japan, we have to go to the article. Let's just go to the yen, USD to yen chart. And the weather's starting to
I
heat
heard
up, so we probably want to wait to go together.
I heard that airfare going to China, oh no, going to Japan has gone up a lot because a lot of people going to China, Japan because the airfare has gone up a lot
Oh, let's see.
to
Uh,
Japan. Yeah.
what's Narita Airport? What's the code? Tokyo.
In
TYO. Okay.
NRT? Is it NRT?
We got it, yeah. Let's see. Let's say we want to go next month, right? Oh, it's also summer season, vacations and all that stuff. Dads and grads.
What is it? Golden Holiday? They have those what is that? Like
Oh,
Golden Holiday or
this
something.
captcha's not working. All right, I don't, yeah, we can skip it. I can't look up the flights with the captcha problem. But yeah, okay. Yeah, it's summer season, so yeah, a little more touristy. All right, cool. We'll talk about copper. Let's get to the cool Sprott chart here. All right. So here's projected copper demand versus supply. So supply is this orange line here, and then here is demand. So it's coming from construction, electronics and other uses, the grid itself, transports, and then wind, batteries, and solar to a very small component. But yeah, the bulk of it is, yeah, electronics, the grid, and EVs. But yeah, it's what, like almost $5 a pound. Um, Stealing copper for money, man, that's got to be a tough hustle. That's nuts and a little dangerous. But yeah. So we also have fun orange juice things here. Oh, Dave's not here. Okay. Yeah, our futures and oil guy's not here. But yeah, here's the Brazilian problem with climate change there. Excessive heat brought stress to orange trees during a crucial period of flowering and early fruit formation between September and November last year. Further hurting output is an increase in citrus greening, a disease that causes fruits to prematurely drop from trees. Yikes. Okay.
OJ futures are wild to trade. I will just yeah, if you want serious like original degeneracy, I remember the guy I learned to trade grains from, former pit trader. He also occasionally traded orange juice. It is a wild ride, let's just say, and very thinly traded. So if you like, you know, basically being stressed out of your mind, trade OJ futures.
What's the symbol? Forward slash.
OJ.
What's the OJ
I
future?
forget, honestly. It's
Let's
been
find it.
a
Must be
long
OJ.
time.
Must be OJ.
All right, we're gonna find this.
I'm not even sure it's supported with toss because it's a funky, very thinly traded product. It's definitely not one of your standard.
I mean, Trading Places was about orange juice, so
Yep. Well, it
was
used to be much more prevalent, and they used to have a number of other futures products back in the 80s that are no longer even traded. Like Rough Oats is barely traded anymore, and you used to have eggs. I forget what they called it, but you could trade eggs and all sorts of craziness.
I don't see
Does
OJ.
anyone follow cocoa? Because there was a problem with cocoa production earlier this year.
Yeah,
Yep.
there's a
Yeah.
huge squeeze, and then also demand also dropped. So big pump and dump, basically.
Yeah, and coffee apparently has been delisted from the CPI, or they're threatening to, because prices are going up in coffee, which, you don't need any coffee. Only like, I think 2/3 of adult Americans drink coffee. It's probably not something that needs to be in the CPI.
Not at all. Yeah.
Nope, you can just have TVs. That's all that you're going to have in your CPI going forward.
Yeah. All right, yeah. So there's no orange juice there. Well, we can ask Dave next time. Have you heard much about orange juice trading?
Yeah, I'm just not sure that it's tradable much anymore,
Yeah.
except in really specialized brokerages.
All right.
Hey, Warren,
Yeah.
I think Dave mentioned last week that he's coming to Oakland
Yeah,
this
I
week.
texted him. He has a
Yeah.
very narrow window. I don't know if he wants to meet the group. We're gonna meet on Sunday, maybe grab beers or something. But yeah, if you guys are, let me ask him if he wants to meet all of us for lunch or something. Yeah, I thought he'd be here today. And then Alan's
Did
on a
you?
plane going back to Hawaii right now.
Oh, okay. Did you tentatively set the time to meet on Sunday?
Oh no, we haven't confirmed. He just said like Sunday, like around lunchtime, maybe. So
Oh,
I'm
okay.
just
Yeah, let me
holding it.
know.
Yeah, I'll let you
Let
know.
me
Yeah,
know. Yeah, I'll
yeah.
reach out to him too. Yeah, I have his number.
Okay. And
Yeah.
and I drank too much tea instead of coffee. So like I need to go to the little boys' room and I'll be right back. Sorry, guys. Momentary
Okay.
pause.
Do you know why Bitcoin futures it says not tradable on Thinkorswim?
I mean, it might not be available as a product on Thinkorswim.
Okay, because they list all the quotes on the chain. It just pops up with a maybe it needs special approval.
Yeah, like exactly. It would be dependent on your broker. Like some of these, obviously futures on ES and the common products are going to be available on pretty much any platform. Some products I know on Thinkorswim, they'll display the futures data, but the product is not available to trade through Thinkorswim.
I've traded both BTC and ETH, Ether on Thinkorswim. I think
Did
you
you need
do
to
need
call
to
in?
get approval.
You have to call
No,
it.
no,
Get
Okay.
approval?
online. No, through TOS.
I think you can trade it on the futures. Are you talking about options on futures?
Options, yeah.
Yeah,
Options.
options on futures
Oh,
for
the
some
options, yeah.
reason. Yeah, you cannot trade BTC on options on futures. I don't know why either. But futures itself, yeah, you can do it.
Yeah, there's certain limitations. I mean, Toss is a great platform. It is not really designed for futures. Like if you're primarily a futures trader, you're probably using a different brokerage.
What's a good brokerage for futures?
I mean, it depends on what you want to do. Like if
Mm-hmm.
you want to trade a wide range of products, Interactive Brokers is probably your best bet, and their fees are reasonable, but their margins are very not reasonable, particularly if you're day trading.
Mm-hmm.
They
Okay.
typically have very conservative margin requirements. You know, anyway, there's a variety of different ones out there, but you know, Toss works, but it is not really designed for futures in mind. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of an add-on.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's letting me buy futures on Bitcoin. The cost is 131,000
Mm-hmm.
per contract.
Right.
Yeah, so you may
Huge
not get the
contract.
margins that you want, right? So, like
Well,
I've
it's
I've
span
used
margin. It's span, but I'm
You
interested in the options, not the contract.
right. You can do micro if you want to do the futures on Bitcoin. You can do the MBTC or
Yeah,
something, right? The micro
I don't want the
Bitcoin.
underlyings anyway. Only the
Just
options.
just the options. I
Oh.
know. We can't do it.
Yeah, and again,
I
depending on what your objectives are, Wendy, like there are other futures brokerages that will give you day trading margins on futures products.
mm-hmm.
So, you know, again, depending on what your objectives are, that might be a better choice. Um, you know, I've used Edge Capital out of Chicago. You really want a Chicago-based firm, and because that's really where futures is, you know, still preeminent.
Mm-hmm.
There's a number of other ones as well. You could use AMP, et cetera, et cetera. But yeah, it just depends on what you're trying to do. But like particularly esoteric, like if you want to trade esoteric calendar spreads on long dated Euribor, you're not going to do it on Thinkorswim.
Oh, okay. Hey, earlier you guys were talking about the spot Bitcoin. What what is that? What's going on with that one?
Out of the CME group?
Uh-huh. Yeah. I mean, don't we already have it?
Not spot, not
Not
spot
spot.
futures. Mm-mm.
So what's that futures that on Thinkorswim that you can trade? That's not spot futures?
No, it's it's 1 month forwards, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, spot is spot, and
The spot,
that's the
right.
difference, right?
So that okay. So that's a different type. All right. That's a good thing.
Yep. No, it's not a bad thing, that's for sure.
Yeah,
It should
it's
help
actually
liquidity with like the ETFs and stuff.
that's a great thing.
Hey, real quick before we forget, on the whole beef thing, I set up a Telegram because I think most of our Bitcoiners are on Telegram. So um, I'll just post the link right there for those who are interested. I've got a few folks in there already that I've invited. Warren, I sent that. I DM'd that to you as well.
Yeah,
So
I got
anyway,
it. Thank you. Yeah.
so that's pretty much what we talked about was just, you know, buying parts of a cow, which ones are good, blah, blah, blah. So we can chat more about it there for those who are interested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll drop in the random chat too.
I had one more comment about cryptocurrency. I don't know if you saw the news that some MIT graduates hacked into the Ethereum blockchain and they stole about $25 million worth of cryptocurrency in about 7 seconds flat.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. Well, they got busted. So they tried to set up a whole bunch of shell corporations to launder the money and transfer it elsewhere, but they still got caught.
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the And I know Warren or one, you will not love this, but I mean, I think one of the issues with like Ethereum is one, it's a very complex roadmap. If you can't explain something to me simply in 10 minutes about what it is and how it works, I mean, if you have to have a roadmap that looks like a Venn diagram of insanity, which is pretty much what the Ethereum group has, there's probably something you don't want to trust about that. It's very highly controlled. It's pre-mined. People forget that I think it was either 2016 or 2017. There was a hack that was perpetrated on Ethereum. A bunch of like hundreds of millions of dollars were stolen. And they basically did a hard fork and reversed that hack. Um, and so, you can't say that it is widely distributed when a hard fork like that is allowed. And they basically created Ethereum 2.0 on it. Like
Ethereum
that's
Classic.
exactly the opposite of the idea. Like if you lose your Bitcoin, for example, or like I've had friends who have been hacked or spoofed or whatever, it's fucking gone. You can't print anymore. Like that's the entire purpose of it. Like if you want a system that works like our existing banking system, where a central authority can go in and reverse, and that's both good and bad, right? Obviously, the good thing is if somebody makes a mistake with your bank account, someone can go in and it's just made up numbers. They can go back and reverse it, right? So that's good in some regards, but it's bad in the sense that you are trusting that third party and ultimately the central bank to do what they're supposed to do. Anyway, that's what I'll say about Ethereum, which is color me not particularly surprised.
Oh, cool. All right.
Yeah. I mean, a simpler way to think about it is most of the cryptocurrency space is really an extension of, and we've actually seen that this week. It's essentially an extension of the degeneracy of the fiat system. And, we've seen essentially like an echo crypto boom going along with the GME degeneracy. So, like, if you want more fiat than fiat, then I would argue that's what most of the crypto space is about. Of course, a lot of people don't like that. When you talk to the average person on the street, they associate most crypto with FTX and the corruption. And basically, that was Bernie Madoff 2.0. I would argue that Bitcoin is an entirely different thing because it doesn't participate in those things. And generally, the crypto space is trying to glom on to what Bitcoin is rather than actually creating innovation. It's really more about Silicon Valley VCs pumping their bags. Essentially, what the VCs found out in 2020, 2021 was they could basically create unregistered securities and get essentially regular people to pump their bags, which they would pre-mine these cryptocurrencies. And it's great if you're a VC. You can basically come up with a business idea and cash out without delivering a product. Whereas in a traditional sense, you actually have to come up with a product that is viable and sell something before you get to cash out of your VC investment. So, crypto is a great deal if you are a VC investor. If you are not, it's not a great deal. Anyway.
Cool. Speaking of smacking fiat up the face, let's take a look at gold and silver really quick. So yeah, let's start with looking at metals premiums. The cost of doing business. All right, so for gold, the premium is about 3.5%. That's a little bit on the low end. We've seen it hover at 3.75 and 4% for a long time. Silver is also ticking a little bit lower. This has been at about the 13.5% for the last couple of weeks. Now it's under 13, which is kind of nice. And if we look at the resident cheapest player, usually without any normal sales, is probably SD Bullion, and generics are running for about 31.22. So let's just confirm if that 13% number is holding up. So spot is 29.66. So let's break out our calculator. So 3122 minus 2966 is about 156 divided by 2966. So at least on this side, since this is the most famous, biggest online discount broker, this is about 5.2% on silver. So still really reasonable overall. Yeah, so that's a generic. So cool. Yeah, so metals is slightly woke up this week, and let's take a look at some interesting related charts. Let me show you guys it's just GLD. So this is the gold ETF. Really strong inflows, nonstop. So this price will continue to go up. So until momentum changes, it'll be higher highs and higher lows. And same thing for silver. Yeah, so this also, yeah, it's just trailing right behind it. So yeah, higher highs and higher lows to be expected in the near term. So yeah, should be a fun time for all. Cool. And then we'll talk about the Nebraska update. So that's good stuff. Let's talk about China's now. And let's look at USD to RMB. All right, so we're seeing this slightly tick a little bit lower. So let's look at a nicer chart with some historical context. Okay. So a lot of the talk right now in China is about potential, since they're issuing so much debt and they've exploded the M2 money supply. Let me guys show you China M2 money supply. That should be helpful. Let's zoom out a little bit. All right. So China's been printing money nonstop for a long time. It's their, it's a private currency for the most part, and they can do what they will. So around COVID here, you see the slope kind of changes. This is like a x equals like 2/3 slope, and then it goes x equals 1x right after COVID, basically. And they start money printing like there's no tomorrow. So let's see if we can find a good overlay of money supply over the Shanghai exchange. See if someone's done that before. No. Okay. But we can do it ourselves. But yeah, okay. Well, that's M2. Well, yeah, so we should expect that number to, yeah, this devaluation of the RMB may increase in the future. So we'll see what happens. And let's look at the Chinese, the Shanghai exchange itself right now. And again, the common watermark is 3,000, and they had to print a lot of trillions of dollars to keep it afloat. So if we zoom out a little bit, you can see, yeah, the market has the average value since it's been 3,000. So effectively, the stock market has gone nowhere for 15 years. It's just been a giant con job and grifting project since day one, and people are still reluctant to admit that. All right, so let's look at the actual events from this week. So the bromance continues. Putin and Xi Jinping are best friends and brothers forever. So this is kind of like Mark Wahlberg and Ted's the teddy bear movie with Ted. So almost looks like that. And let's see, this is the 70th anniversary of diplomatic relations between the two countries. And yeah, this is a beautiful match made in hell. I like Putin a lot more than I like Xi Jinping for obvious reasons. But yeah. Okay, so that's cooking. And this is partially why the U.S. sanctions against Russia include Chinese firms, because China's double dealing under the table, which is to be expected. All right. All right, a couple of folks brought this up at the very start of our session, and we're looking at the potential option of Beijing truly looking to bail out the real estate sector. But again, this is too big. Effectively, the real estate asset class in China is almost bigger than the government. Not, sorry, I think it just is. I need to check figures, but I'm pretty sure it's much bigger. And I don't think the multiple state banks of China has the deep pockets to do this. Again, they're already printing enough IOUs across the board as we look at the M2 money supply, that if the M2 money supply goes vertical and the RMB devalues itself, this will be hyperinflation there. So they'll go from inflation to deflation and then back into hyperinflation. And I don't know if they're going to survive that. So yeah, we'll have to see if that's even possible. And our cost of living adjustment poodle visits us at the trading desk. Meanwhile, we have Cola. Cola, sit. Oh, down. Sit. Cola. All right. Biden administration quadruples tariffs on Chinese EVs. And it seems like Xi Jinping's play is, again, not to help the people, but to help his fellow oligarchs. And he's focused on semiconductors, EVs, and AI tech primarily, and solar panels to a certain extent. That's all he cares about. And we call this economic trade dumping when it's, state-sponsored, state-subsidized entities that are just dumping cheap produced goods on foreign shores. And yeah, there'll be a lot of pushback with tariffs. So yeah, that includes BYDs. And we've talked about this before, how European ports are full of piles of Chinese EVs that haven't been sold, and distributors are reluctant to pick them up due to safety hazards and other issues. So yeah, you're seeing corporate welfare, but with Chinese characteristics. Yeah, pretty crazy. Let's look at some other outflow data. All right, let me make this a little bit bigger. All right, cool. All right, so here is falling liquidity. So this is the Li Keqiang index. That is the former premier that died. But let me see if we can get a historical. Oh, this is historical. Okay, let's see. This is his measure of economic economic activity year over year. So that is in black. And then here's the M1 money supply here, and real growth keeps falling. So basically, for the amount of money printing, you would get sort of an equivalent in actual production. And that system is no longer happening anymore. So even if you're printing money, they're not seeing productivity increase whatsoever anymore. All right, and let's see. Overall, yeah, outflows have significantly increased, and they've been on this trend since 2017, really. And again, I keep mentioning that the 2012, 2013 was probably peak China, legitimately. Like about 2 years after I left, like that was as good as it gets. All right. Okay. We've talked about M2 money supply. We can skip the yields data. We talked about deflation. Okay, yeah, we're a little bit out of time, but yeah, that's 12:30. So covered pretty much everything. Let me see if I forgot anything in the chat. Oh, what did Ed post? What is this? Ethereum divided by Bitcoin. Okay. And no new high since 2018, despite change to what's POW?
Proof of work.
Oh, proof of work. Yeah. And yeah, it's crashing relative to Bitcoin. Interesting. Okay. So yeah, Ethereum seems like a different can of worms altogether. Awesome. All right. With that, let me stop the recording, and we just have earnings to look at, and that's just AMAT today.